Hello, and welcome to episode 36 of Friends of the Show. I am Stephen W. Skinner, and this is the show where I talk to the funniest and nicest people I know. They, the friends of the show. This week's friend is Brandan at Le Bear Girdle, who was great. We talked about his battle versus spiced chicken wings. We delve into his fascination with penguins. And of course, we talk about teeth. As a bonus, we read and answer great and weird questions submitted by listeners just like you. Sacre bleu! It's Friends of the Show, episode 36 with Le Bear Girdle.
A day without sunshine is like, night. Steve Martin.
The wisdom of Steve Martin. So, what a great quote. Thank you, and welcome to the podcast, Brandan.
Thanks for having me, Stephen.
All right. So, for the listeners, Brandan is a very funny and nice Twitter joke creator. He has created some of the funniest tweets in recent memory, and if you listen to the Hoppers episode, you heard us read one of his iconic tweets. So, very happy to have him on the show this week. Welcome, Brandan.
Glad to be here, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Listened to the show a few times. Big fan.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Always love to hear from the listeners. I don't know you too well, so let's get to know you. Where are you from? What do you do? Tell us everything.
Well, I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am 22 years old, and I work for a bank.
Oh, yeah. In the finance biz. Making that money. Is that what you do? Make the money?
I just make the money. I show up, they pay me, and I leave.
Well, that is a sweet gig. So
not bad.
In the finance biz in Steel City. Go Steelers, black and yellow, etc.
Black and yellow.
Right? So you're a big fan of all the teams? The Steelers, the Penguins, what else? Pirates.
The Pirates, you don't have to worry about that one.
You don't have to worry about the Pirates? Oh.
No, they're pretty bad.
But I love their retro throwback uniforms with the weird caps.
Oh, I mean, their throwbacks they're beautiful, but unfortunately, watching the game is painful. So you can just look at pictures.
Yeah. Well, I like a city that has a consistent theme across their sports teams, and that black and yellow, it really works, right? You can just bring a terrible towel over to the Pittsburgh game or the hockey game, and it still works.
Honestly, it really does. There's a lot of crossover, and it makes it a little easier to cheer for the team. You wear one jersey to essentially any sport.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, you can save money that way, too. You only have to buy one jersey. You can go to all of the sports.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So, what's popping off in Pittsburgh? A lot of steel exports?
Not as much anymore. Not since, like, the mid-1900s.
Okay, so I'm a little bit behind on my Pittsburgh knowledge. So, tell us, what's day-to-day life in Pittsburgh all about?
All about dramatic climate change. You wake up in the morning and it's 20, and then once you get to work, it's 60, and you leave work again and it's snowing. So, you dress in layers.
Layers, that's key. Yeah, I guess we're sort of the same general geographic area, the Northeast.
The Northeast, the Great Northeast.
The Great Northeast of North America. Yeah, we get those tail ends of the nor'easters, too, after they blow by you guys. So, yeah.
We don't get those too much here.
Okay, that's good. It's sort of the south end of the Northeast, I guess, right?
Yeah, we're those southern states of the Northeast.
The southern Northeast, great place to be.
The South Northeast.
Yeah, so being from Canada, I understand that you got to wear the layers, and the weather is not always great. So you're
not.
Because I've talked to some people who have never seen snow. Shout out to Eddie from Congo. But those of us who have, it's nothing special. It's just another pain in the butt.
It's cold the first time.
I guess it's true.
And then you want it to be over forever.
Yeah, and the worst part for me is the beginning and end of the season when it's sort of not sure if it's really snow weather or if it's like rain and
that's just slush season.
It turns into slush season, and that is not fun.
No.
Gotta make sure you have your high boots, your tall boots, and watch out. It's slippery out there, folks.
Yeah, you just learn to bring around an extra pair of socks everywhere you go. Because you're bound to step in something.
You got to have your backup socks. That is very important. So for any other all the warm weather listeners out there, this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with.
For double socks.
Shout out to double socks. Make sure you have them. All right. So that's pretty good. What else are you into? Maybe penguins? I know we mentioned the hockey team, but...
Oh, well, it's much more than the hockey team, Stephen. You see, I love penguins. They are by far my favorite animal. And I love them.
Okay, where did this love from penguins come from, do you think?
I mean, it did start with the sports team. They are my favorite sports team in Pittsburgh. Go Penguins.
Oh, nice.
2-time Stanley Cup champions. I'm sure you watch hockey, see?
Yeah. I'm forced to watch it quite a bit. No, it's all right.
Didn't know if the stereotype was true everywhere.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs have historically not been good, sort of to
no, they
curse.
Haven't, but they still have a very good following.
Curse level proportions, but this year they actually have a good team, so I've been watching a little bit more of like a bandwagoneer, and yeah, it's fun. Actually, I think they just played Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they did.
I think they just won. They did.
Yeah, they did.
But, there's a lot of games left. We'll see.
There are a lot of games left.
So we'll
but going back to just the Penguins in general, I've been a big Penguins fan of the animal itself for about 10 years now. And, I've gone to the aviary, and I actually went to the aviary a few weeks ago with my girlfriend. We were probably there for 2 hours, and an hour of that was by the penguins, because I didn't want to leave. And it turns out for my birthday, which is actually next Saturday, December 16th, anybody listening, I guess it'll come out after that. But
happy early birthday right now, and happy belated birthday of the day when this comes out.
But it turns out that she is actually bringing me to the penguin encounters at the Pittsburgh Aviary, where I can have a one-on-one with penguins.
What? Oh.
And she told me this the other day, and I cried.
Oh my goodness. What a lovely gesture. What a sweetheart girlfriend. Shout out to your girlfriend. That's a great gift. So, yeah, that's amazing. So, you're going to go and become best friends with a penguin, finally.
Oh, I hope so.
That's pretty cool. So you get to, walk up to it, maybe feed it a little fish or something?
Yeah, from all the videos I've watched, you get to, walk up and you pet it and you feed it. And it's going to be a great time.
Then try to take it home, and they're like, sir.
I don't have a penguin in my pocket. What are you talking about?
So basically, your dream scenario is that movie, Mr. Popper's Penguins, with Jim Carrey?
Yes, actually, it is. I've watched that movie in much anguish.
Is it a good movie? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen the movie, actually. I've read the book. I imagine it's similar.
Similar, probably. So, you're best friends with the penguin. That's very exciting. I hope you do make a real connection out there.
I hope so too.
Yeah, penguins are very cool. I worked at the zoo for a while, and it was always fun to go check them out. All doing their own thing. Like that guy's over there waddling around. This guy's
so
swimming underwater. Yeah, they're always chilling, but in different levels of chill.
Ah, they're wonderful.
Guess that's part of their Arctic upbringing.
Well, it turns out a lot of penguins actually live in Africa.
Right, that's a thing that nobody knows.
Yeah, it is. So shout out to Penguin Facts.
Penguin Facts.
Like to inform the listeners about penguins. They're not all in the Arctic.
Oh, what other penguin facts could you share with us?
They don't fly. Or at least one has never been recorded.
Oh, man. That one that did fly, probably super pissed.
Oh, he probably is.
Because nobody knows. He's like, I swear. Guys, I swear I did it. Like, all right, whatever you say, Carl.
There's that Carl always talking about how he flew that one time.
Sure thing, Carl. We'll believe that. All right, so great. So we got to the bottom of your love of penguins. And that's very exciting about the meet and greet. I am exciting. You'll follow up and let us know how that went.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have to do a second show all about that.
We'll have to do one specific show about the penguins. We'll get some audio clips from the meet and greet. It'll be a event of great proportions. All right. So I guess that gives us a little bit of a background about you. From Pittsburgh. Work at a bank.
Oh, yes.
Love penguins. Have a great girlfriend. So let's get into your story. And the title of the story is 3 Chickens and a Morning Surprise.
Well, it's probably not what you think. So,
the morning surprise?
The 3 chickens also.
Okay.
So it goes back, so I graduated college this last year. This goes back to my senior year of high school. I was coming back from a show, and we were hungry, wanted chicken wings. And we went to a place called Quaker Steak and Lube. If anybody hasn't heard of it, I don't know if it's a nationwide chain or more just in Pittsburgh, but I think they're more just in Pittsburgh. So anyways, they have this contest called the Atomic Wing Challenge. And the Atomic Wing Challenge is 6 chicken wings, so 3 chickens. And it's real hot.
Okay.
And we underestimated it the first time. We're like, we're going to do this. We're going to try it. We're just going to do 1 each, see if we can eat it. So we ordered just one little container of them. It was just 6 chicken wings. Me and my friend, we each had 1. We gave up. We couldn't do it. Impossible.
You couldn't? It was too atomic?
It was too atomic. So we were like, okay, we're going to train. We're going to come back to it. We're going to beat it.
Okay, cue the montage. And
it's the montage. It would just be us, eating, drinking hot sauce and sitting in saunas.
Is that what you did? Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the preparation would be, other than just
we just ate a lot of hot chips and stuff. I don't know. It wasn't really much preparation.
So really, we were just bombarding your taste buds. But you like the idea of training your taste buds.
Yes.
Like, all right.
So we go back a few months later, bound and determined to beat these wings. It was me and 3 of my friends, actually. Me and my original friend who did brought 2 others. And we each went around, we each beat it. Beat it. It was great. And it turns out it really wasn't as bad as we thought. And, we did it. It was fine. And then, we went to college. And in college, we found out that they came out with a triple atomic.
Oh, my.
And this is where the story goes from bad to worse. So we talk about it. We're like, we're going to do this story. We're going to do it, and we're going to complete it. And it turns out that the original Hot Wings were actually on, I don't know, there was a show called Man vs. Food. It's still out, I think.
Was that
and
Guy
he actually
Fieri?
did the regular Atomic Wings, and he struggled, but he did it. But then they came out with the triple Atomic, and it was 3 times hotter than the original wings.
That sounds hot.
So we're like, you know what? When our first winter break out of college, we're going to come back, we're going to go do it. So, we get in the car, we drive out, and we're sitting there, and we order the wings, and they bring out this waiver. And they're like, you have to not sue us if you die. And we're like, well, okay then.
They're like, that's not up to me. It's up to the executors of my estate, but okay.
Yeah, whenever you order food, the worst thing they can do is bring out a waiver for you to sign.
Yikes.
So, of course we signed the waiver, because we're idiots. And we each do it 1 by 1. And my first friend, he starts on the wings. He gives up. He can't do it. And my second friend, he starts on the wings. He gets like 10 minutes in. He probably gets 4 of them eaten. I think he stops.
Ooh, so close.
And so it's my turn. And they bring out my wings. And the thing of the challenge is you can really take as much time as you want. You can't get up, but you can drink as much milk as you want.
Oh, okay, so they will bring you that sweet milk, which...
They will bring you that sweet
as
berry.
we know, does a great, I guess it coats your taste buds from the spice of the heat.
Yeah, it neutralizes the spice.
Yes.
I forget what the actual term is of it for, but,
I think neutralize is pretty good. I think it does have to do with the pH balance.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so they're bringing them out.
So they bring out the wings, and you smell them originally, and it just hurts you from the core.
Oof.
It goes in your nose, and your nose says, "Hey, buddy, listen, you don't want to do this." I'm like, "Well, listen here, nose, I'm gonna do it." And immediately, the first bite, everything is bad.
Oof.
My eyes water, and there's just snot already coming out. I'm like, oh, "Okay, here we go." And there's a table of probable like 40 or 50-year-olds. Probably 10 of them all watching me do this. And it was embarrassing, but at this point I didn't care. I was in the zone. And I get about 3 wings down. And at this point, my insides by like a volcano. And they keep bringing me that sweet, sweet milk.
Okay, how much milk per wing are you drinking?
I probably drank throughout the thing almost a half-gallon of milk.
Wow, that's a lot.
But at a certain point, it doesn't do anything. And your mouth is essentially just numbed. So I finally get to the sixth and final wing, and I'm eating it, and I want to give up. I want to give up, but I can't. I have to persevere. And the table of 50 to 60-year-olds, I think, I don't know, somewhere around there, they cheer for me.
Yes.
They get up, and they clap. And I'm like, no, I can't give up. I down another glass of milk. At this point, I'm just full. I'm just full of milk and spicy goodness.
You're all sweaty and...
I'm sweaty. There's just snot everywhere. I'm just a real mess. So I down the final wing. And I run to the bathroom, and I put my head under the sink for about the next 5 minutes. And there's a guy who's finishing up in the bathroom, and he really wants to wash his hands. And I'm like, sir, there are more pressing matters at hand. I need to do this right now.
So you're like leaned over the sink and like rinsing out your mouth.
It's not even leaning over the sink. I mean, my head is under the sink. And he's like, you know what? I can see by the look in your eye that you're not going to move. So I'm just going to leave. So I get my T-shirt, I leave, and I can't drive home because I'm shaking too much.
I thought you were going to say this part of the waiver, like you legally can't drive after eating 6 of these wings.
No, I wish, but I couldn't drive. I was too cold. And the thing about eating these wings is you think you're done after the challenge, but the challenge has only just begun.
Yeah. The real challenge is after.
Yeah, it sinks into the pores of your fingers.
Oof.
So that night, when I couldn't take out my contacts, so I actually had to have my mom take my contacts out of my eyes for me.
Oh, man.
Because I couldn't touch anything. The next morning, I get up, and of course, with everything in my stomach, it was time. And I started, and I couldn't finish it.
Oh, no.
You know, I sat down, I got all situated, and just as the first little bit came out, I stopped, and I'm like, this is too painful. I would rather eat 6 more of these wings than finish getting them out of my system right now.
Oh, man, that's that Johnny Cash Ring of Fire song. That's what it's about.
It did fall into a burning ring of fire.
That's horrifying. So what did you do?
I decided I wasn't going to poop for the next day.
Okay.
And I just eventually, it had to, and I just, bit a towel and got all those wings out of my system.
Oof, and was it still as painful the second time?
Not as much. After I waited more time,
it calmed down a little bit. That's what I was wondering. It calmed down
a little bit, but
if
that morning
worked.
Yeah, it was not good. So that is 3 chickens and a morning surprise.
That was the morning surprise because the challenge wasn't over.
The challenge had only just begun.
It had only just begun. So you got a T-shirt.
I did get a T-shirt.
So all worth it?
No.
It's totally worth it because you got not only a T-shirt, but you got a great tale to tell on the podcast. So,
that's what I did it for.
So thank you very much.
My name on the wall of flame.
Do you get your name on the thing?
I do. My name is on the wall at that Quaker Steak and Lube now.
Well, that's very cool. And your friends obviously did not. Did they go back eventually and beat it, or you're the only one out of your group?
We never went back.
Yeah, obviously.
I never wanted to
go
back.
You're like, guys, it's not worth it. The T-shirt's really great. Name on the wall is good, but maybe not worth it.
Definitely not.
Oof, well, what a harrowing tale. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
All right, and now we get into the new segment, Talking Twitter. So let's start talking about Twitter. You're on Twitter at LeBearGirdle, and I normally ask how you come about your handle, but I know that's coming up later in the questions. So my question for you is, how long you been on Twitter?
So I have a personal account that I had since, oh boy, I don't even know. I've had that for 4 or 5 years or something like that. And I always wanted to write jokes, and they just kind of crash and burn on your normal account. People are like, you okay? Yeah. So I decided I was going to make this account which I have. It's going to be about 3 years coming up in January, I think.
So 3 years on quote-unquote joke Twitter.
That is correct.
All right. So you're just past your 3 years anniversary. So do you have a fond memory? What's your fondest memory of something that's happened within those 3 years on Twitter, on joke Twitter?
Oh, my fondest memory on joke Twitter. Wow. I would have to say whenever David Hughes told me that I wrote the best tweet on Twitter.
David 8 Hughes, British
David Hughes.
And Twitter, very popular account, told you that you had the greatest tweet on Twitter? Or that?
Yes, he did.
Wowee. That is some positive affirmation from a heavy hitter. Just clutches fist, gives you all that affirmation.
Just
wow,
all that.
Very cool. So, so the tweet in question, which tweet is that?
Well, I think you could take a guess. It is the teeth tweet.
It's the teeth tweet. And for the listeners who don't know, Brandan wrote a very funny teeth tweet. It was read on the Hoppers episode. So go back and check that episode if you want to hear what the tweet is. Or go check out Le Bear Girdle on Twitter. Or those other accounts that steal tweets. Because this is a heavily stolen tweet. So you could probably go to any of those aggregator accounts and see it. But one of the very funniest tweets, definitely. So I agree with David 8 Hughes on this one. Great tweet.
Well, thank you.
Well, great. So that's very nice. So the next question about Twitter. Have you had any memorable interactions with any celebrities or brands that we might know?
Celebrities or brands? A few years ago, I had a big DM group. It was like my first big DM group. And it was with, I don't even know why I was brought into this, really. I was pretty small at the time. But it was with David Hughes and Ruined Picnic and a lot of those big accounts. I don't know why I was put into this group. And we also brought in Dr. Pepper France.
So the verified Dr. Pepper account got added to this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know why we brought them in. But we just kind of constantly harassed Dr. Pepper France, and they would always respond. And this was like a week. We would just mess with Dr. Pepper France, and they just kept responding. And it was the weirdest thing.
Those poor intern at Dr. Pepper France. Dr. Pepper France, like from Europe? Like the Europe?
I guess, yeah. I mean, it was just the Dr. Pepper chain in another country.
And they would reply, like they would get dissed, and then they would reply in the chat?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It was really, I don't know why they brought Dr. Pepper France in there, but we like changed the DM group to Dr. Pepper France, and sometimes we'd tell them like, I only taste 22 flavors, you're 23, and they wouldn't know how to respond, so they would just get mad, but they never left.
Yeah, they couldn't leave. They couldn't bring themselves to leave, but
we just had this ongoing feud with the French version of Dr. Pepper, and it was a lot of fun.
It's so weird. Yeah, it's always interesting to me the different way brands go about their social media and interacting on Twitter and stuff, because some do it right, and they're fine, and some have no idea what they're doing. So it's really funny to see the spectrum of brands on Twitter. Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, and the final Talkin' Twitter question. Who would be your dream follow back?
Oh, my dream follow back. Probably Lin-Manuel.
Ooh, creator of Hamilton and very popular Twitter guy and very nice guy, Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I guess he wrote that Moana song that's going to be up for Oscars. So.
Oh, I love Moana.
Well, I mean, that's even more of a reason to get him following you.
It
so,
is.
Lynn, if you're listening, go ahead and shoot him a follow. Well, I think that's a great selection. And donate to Puerto Rico Relief if you can.
Yes.
Lynn would want me to say that.
He would.
All right. So, thank you very much for answering my hard-pressing Twitter questions. And now we get into the tweets themselves. So, you have picked your own tweet, and would you like to share it with us?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I could do it, but it'd be great to hear it from in your voice.
I don't think I've ever read it out loud, so yeah, I'll give it a try.
Alrighty.
Alright. What if the anteaters go extinct? Will I have to eat all the ants? I don't even like ants. Someone please answer me. I could maybe eat one?
Very important question. Who are you even asking?
It's just kind of one of those thoughts you have at night. Like, the anteaters are made for a reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of good anteaters creation tweets. So it's sort of along those lines. And also, the brain before going to bed kind of thing. But without implicitly saying that, it fits into all those formats, but without being those formats. Very good. I love that. I could maybe eat one. Like, I'll try. It was like with the wings.
I'll try one.
It's like the wings.
It's exactly like the wings. Like, if I can eat 6 of those wings, I could eat an ant. Maybe even like 2.
Fire ants, though, right? You could probably.
I could eat 6.
You could probably eat 6 fire ants. It's probably not as hot as the triple atomic.
You think I'd have to sign a waiver?
yeah, definitely. All the ants combine and form a waiver. Well, I think that's a great tweet, so thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I have selected one of your tweets to be read by me right now. And my selection is: deer population is controlled by releasing wolves into an area. All problems should be solved that way. Too much pollution? Release wolves in factories. Dislike Congress? Wolves. Want to lose weight? That's right, wolves. Now that is a classic tweet, and at the time of this recording, over 115,000 likes. So 115,000 people can be wrong. What a great tweet. How'd you come up with this? Wolves?
I don't know. I saw a special a while ago where wolves were put into an area because it was being overrun by a bunch of like deer and other animals like that, and it reinvigorated this land, and all the trees grew back and everything started going back, circle of life kind of thing. And I'm like, what if that worked for everything?
I mean, it's a great question.
Like, why can't you got a problem in your life? Just throw some wolves in there.
I think it could actually work for some of these.
Some of them, yeah.
For sure. I think so. I mean, too much pollution, release wolves in factories. Those factories ain't going to be releasing much pollution after that because of the wolves.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Congress passing awful tax bills. They would not be able to do that if their area was covered in, if it was wolves everywhere, right? Can't get to your little desk or whatever to vote. Want to lose weight? Wolves. That totally makes sense. Just running from wolves would definitely lose.
Yeah, that works. That would kind of 2 ways, because either it'll eat you and you'll have no weight, or you'll lose it from running.
Hey, this is brought to you by wolves. Check them out.
Wolves.
Come to the forest. We're here. All right. All right. Love wolves. Great tweets. So everyone should be following Brandon LeBearGirdle on Twitter. All right. Now we get into the picks from others. So sifted from literally hundreds of tweets on Twitter, you have selected these 2 picks. So would you like to hit us with one?
Sure, we'll start with Dumbs. Do you want to read that one with me?
Oh, sure. Okay. I will be Bully.
All right, I will be me, which I guess would be dumb at this point, but I'll be me.
So we're talking about Dumb. That's with 2 U's, DUUMB on Twitter. Everyone go check him out. So I am the Bully. It's your word against mine.
Let's do it.
What?
You selected the word what. Big mistake, bro. I choose shenanigan. That tweet has made me laugh every time I've read it for the last, when was this tweeted? Back in July. I have read this dozens of times, and it has never not made me laugh.
The word shenanigan is a great one to end a tweet on, if you can do it.
It really is. Like, if I had to choose a word, shenanigan might be the one.
Shenanigan, great tweet, and great use of it. And also, stand up to bullies. Right? So there's a great moral center to this. Be good. Don't bully. Stand up to bullies. Like Dumb. Be like Dumb.
Be like Dumb.
All right, well, that's a great one. So since we both read the first one, let's both read the next one, too. I'm talking from Cat Damon at Corn on the Goblin. So I will be the mom.
I will be me again, which in this case is Cat Damon.
All right. Are you kids committing seppuku in there?
Me trying to scoop my guts back inside of me. No.
Okay, no seppuku. I hope I was pronouncing that correctly. Seppuku.
Yeah, seppuku.
Seppuku, which is, if the listeners...
Japanese ritual suicide.
That's what I'm talking about. For the listeners, if you don't know, seppuku is obviously the ancient Japanese ritual suicide made popular by samurais, I believe.
Yes.
So it's like if you become dishonored in any way, you could just do that, and you kind of get your honor back a little bit.
Bring honor to your cow.
Bring honor to your master. So those are great tweets. Obviously, great tweeters at Corn on the Goblin. He's got great musical parody tweets and the like, and obviously stuff like this. And Dumb, D-U-U-M-B. A lot of great tweets from both of them. So great picks, Brandon.
Thank you. I was going to pick one of his music ones, but that seppuku one really just hit a spot in me, you know?
It hit you right in the guts. Right in the center of your guts.
Stabbed me right in the guts. Because I actually took Japanese in high school.
Okay. So you can count in Japanese like I can?
I can.
Ich, ni, san, ji.
Go, roku, shichi, hach.
We're doing it. So shout out to all our Japanese listeners. We just counted. Love it. So do you have any other sayings in Japanese that you want to share with us?
Enbitsu kashite kudasai.
Whoa. I don't know what that meant.
Can I borrow a pencil?
Everything sounds so cool in other languages.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so funny when you're just saying something pretty benign, but if you say it in another language, then people don't understand.
Whoa.
If you say that really angrily, you're like, huh? What'd I do? Like, no, I just
can borrow a pencil.
Just need that pencil. Just trying to sign this waiver these ants are making me sign.
Oh, I didn't understand what you were saying. Oh, we were going to have to commit seppuku then.
Sorry. Hands over the samurai sword. Alrighty. So now we get into everyone's favorite segment on the show, and that is questions from Twitter. So thank you to everyone who has submitted questions. We got a lot of great ones this week. Remember to follow at FOTS Pod on Twitter and send your questions for future guests. It's the best. So the first question comes to us from Calvin. I'm talking about at Captain Calvis, the boy Kellen. He popped in there right away with this hot question. And for the listeners, it's about Brandon's AVI, or AVI, avatar, his display picture, in which he is eating something. And the question posed by Kellen is, the fuck you eating in that pic, boy?
Oh, Kellen. Well, I'm glad he asked, because I love talking about that. So, what you see in that picture there, for all you listeners who can't see it, is a burger. And it's not just a burger. It is the best burger I've ever had in my life.
That's the one?
That is the one. The burger in question I ate in Wildwood, New Jersey, on the boardwalk in Wildwood. And it is a bacon, egg, and cheese burger with bacon, egg, and cheese.
Okay.
And it is on a maple donut.
It's on a donut.
It is on a donut. And I originally was a little skeptical. Like, it's going to be too sweet. They're going to do something wrong. And it wasn't. It was a perfect mix. The maple, you get a little bit on the back of your tongue, and it all goes. I mean, it tastes like a breakfast.
Like a breakfast burger.
Essentially a breakfast burger.
Not too sweet. The perfect balance of sweet and savory, you're saying. So you got the greasy burger with the cheese and the bacon. Wait, an egg?
Yeah, fried egg.
And an egg, mixing it all together?
Yeah, so it drips out a little bit when you eat it.
The yolk is all over everything, yeah. And,
it's all over everything.
And is there a top, or is it just like open face, just like on the bottom, the donut?
No, it's both. It's the whole donut.
It's the whole donut. Oh, I get it. You cut it like a bagel.
Yep, cut it like a bagel.
Jam everything inside. Wow. That is very interesting. I've never had that. I never heard of it. But now I want to try it.
Donuts for bread.
So where was the place? Jersey? Gotta go.
And New Jersey.
What exit?
It's a boardwalk, Wildwood, New Jersey.
Wildwood, New Jersey. Everyone, check it
park.
out. So thank you very much, Kellen, for that great question. And the next question comes to us from friend of the show, Tom at Trojan Sauce. And he asked 2 questions. If you had to switch the A in your name for a different vowel, what would it be?
That's a great Tom accent.
Oh, thank you.
If I had to switch the A's in my name, there are 2, which I'm sure we were going to get to a little bit later. But if I had to switch them to anything, I would probably switch them to Y's, which are sometimes a vowel.
Oh, yeah, sometimes. Well,
I would make both of them Y's. So that way my name would be all kind of consonants and also sort of vowels. And you pronounce it kind of weird.
Yeah, how would you pronounce that? That would sort of be...
like Brandan.
Yeah, it would be like you could move to Wales and just fit right in, no problem. You'll be like, oh, yeah, nothing weird about that name.
Look, perfectly normal name.
Brandan. So we should get into it. Your name is Brandan, and am I saying that correctly? It's 2 A's, Brandan. What?
My life is hard, Steven. I'm going to tell you what. I want to shout out to anybody who has this name. I want you to contact me, and we can talk about how hard life is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like if your name was spelled with a V and also a P and also an H.
Whoa, I get it now. Now I can relate.
Like what life would be.
Now I can relate because there is a long-standing feud between Stevens that spell their name with a V and Stevens that spell their name with a PH. It's sort of like that vampire werewolf feud that's always going on. And you never really notice it, but it's like secretly brewing under the surface. So I understand because there's so many different ways to spell Brandan too, right? You got your Brandan with an O. You got your
That's the most common one.
Brandan, like Brandon, you're saying is the most common?
That is the most common one.
Okay. What else do we got? Brandan with an E? Do you ever see that?
I've seen it with, normally if it's an E, it's in the beginning, so it's like Bren.
Right. So like
Brandan.
Brandan. Or what about Brandan? Like E and then A?
Yes, that's like the A at the end is common if the E is at the beginning.
Is any kind of combination. What's the weirdest
Except
one you've seen other than yours? I've
seen one with an I.
What? Like Brandan or Brandan?
Brandan would be pretty funny. I've seen Brandan, like Brandin. That's actually more common than mine.
Actually, yeah. Football player Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. He's playing tomorrow.
Big game. Fantasy playoffs. Shout out to all our fantasy football players out there. By the time this airs, it'll all be over. So
Probably.
I hope you won, and good luck to you and your team.
Oh, thank you. Doing all right now.
I'm big into it. I'm also clinging on to a short lead. Sorry, listeners, for that fun tangent. We get to Tom's next question. It is fuck, marry, kill. Kellen with long hair, Kellen with short hair, or Kellen shaved head. Or we're talking Captain Calvis from the first question.
Well, I'm actually in a room with both Tom and Kellen. And, it's difficult. I've thought a lot about this question. By far the most thought about question I've gotten thus far. And I think I have an answer for you.
Please.
So, I would fuck the one with the shaved Kellen. Because I feel like he's ambitious and, he's just ready for something new and fun.
I guess that's true. Yeah. That's embarking on new life, Kellen.
Yeah, just going for it. Just crazy Kellen.
Okay.
And then I would kill short hair Kellen. Because short hair Kellen just seems lame to me, It's just, he's not ready for anything. He's just complacent.
Right, okay.
And then I would marry long hair Kellen because I feel like long hair Kellen would treat me right.
Long hair Kellen was the OG, the original Kellen, right? So yeah,
I got very upset when he shaved his head. I told him multiple times.
You didn't approve of that choice?
I did not at all. I was very upset with him.
But also you got to realize at that time it's embarking on a new chapter of life, Kellen. So it's a different Kellen, right?
And without that Kellen shaving his head, I wouldn't have one to fuck. So
I guess that's true. All right, well, that's a very well thought out answer. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Kellen, for having different hairstyles. And thank Brandan for choosing those. All right, now we get to the next question. And it is submitted from friend of the show, Isabel Zatun, Pigeon Fancier. She asks, if you knew you were going to unavoidably die suddenly and without pain in a year's time, what would you change about your life? And what would you keep the same?
Oh, boy.
Another great existential quandrum from Pigeon Fancier herself, Isabel. She wants to know.
Man, if I had to change something, I would probably quit my job immediately. No point in working if I'm going to die soon.
All right, just walk out of the bank one day.
I mean, I'd probably do it, like, fun. I would probably smash some things and parachute out the window.
Okay,
but
that sounds like fun. Parachuting out the window.
Someone like the 14th floor, so I could probably do it.
Yeah, that's enough for a, what's it called, a base jump?
I think that's a base jump.
I think that's enough, yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably what I would change just right off the bat.
So now with all your free time, what are you doing?
I'm probably going to go somewhere. I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Oh, use that pencil borrowing skills that you
use
learned.
all that Japanese I know. I could go over there and borrow some pencils.
It's just you walking around, just like armfuls of pencils. Just so
all
many
these really
pencils.
kind Japanese people just happen to have one loose pencil they don't need that day.
Just, yeah. Oh, that's the pencil guy. Oh, pencil-san.
Pencil-kun.
And then you're like, where's a good spot to commit seppuku around here?
That's probably how I'd go if I knew I was gonna if I knew exactly what day it was gonna be. I'd probably commit seppuku.
I mean, that's a great way to, like I said, maintain your honor. Right?
That's a good way to do it.
Very important in the feudal system that we currently live in. All right, so that's what you would change, but what would you keep the same? Maybe your Twitter account? Keep that the same? Keep on pumping out fun jokes?
I'd probably keep on just churning them out a little bit, maybe a little less since I'm going to die in a year.
Or they'd become very existential.
Very morbid.
And morbid, yeah.
I just do a countdown every day. I wouldn't tell anybody what it was. I just start, 365, 364. People are like, what's he counting down to?
You're like, oh, I can't wait to find out.
Everybody would be tuned in on day one, and all of a sudden, no more tweets.
You're like, what happened? What happened at the end of the countdown?
That was it.
We'll never know. Yeah, very anticlimactic countdown. So thank you very much for the questions, Isabel. And everyone go check out her episode of the show. It was live. All right, next question comes to us from beloved friend of the show, Timmy, at the Timmy Toes. And he asks, have you ever fallen downstairs? Have you ever fallen?
I have.
Have you ever fallen upstairs?
I have not.
You haven't fallen upstairs?
Not that I can. I mean, I've had a little stumble, but I've never full out fallen. I have full out fallen downstairs.
Oof. Do you remember specifically what the stairs were? Where it was?
Well, when I was 2, actually, I was at the top of probably like an 11 or 12 step stairs, and there was at the bottom was just a concrete landing, and I fell down the whole thing.
Oh, dang.
And people thought I was dead, and then they went down, and I was perfectly all right.
You were fine? You walked away without a scratch?
I don't know if I was walking at that point, but I got up. I was good. Now I tweet.
Ooh, well, thank goodness. I mean, that is always very scary. I can't believe we haven't figured out a better thing than stairs. It seems like something that we should have figured out by now.
I agree.
To stop people from falling down the stairs. I mean, we got those, if you're really old, you can get those, like, lifts. But that's not for everybody.
No, those are cool, though. I would have one of those.
Those are cool. And, yeah, if you fall down the stairs, sometimes you need to get that. So, yeah, kind of works itself out.
Yeah.
All right, great. So thank you very much, Timmy at the Timmy Toes. And you can go check out his episode too. And be sure to stay tuned all the way through the end for the burrito song. All right, next question comes from Llama in a Tux. I'm talking at Llama in a Tux. And he asks, hey there, long-time toother here. I want to hear what Mr. Brandan would have as a pet if he could have anything, fiction or non. Fiction or non?
So if I had to do, I'll do one of both. If I had a non-fiction pet, I think we can all assume it would be a penguin.
Penguin, yes, of course. Mr. Popper.
Non-fiction pet. Boy. I don't know. I'd probably go with a Pokemon.
Okay, yeah, all right. What are we talking?
Like it would keep me safe.
Yes. So specifically, what Pokemon are we talking about?
Oh boy, yeah, that's the tough one. I've thought about this one a lot too.
Okay, let's get.
It would probably have to be a Snorlax.
Snorlax, a big boy.
I think I would just be a nice sleeping partner, you know?
It would be very comfortable snuggling up with a Snorlax. No one would mess with you because he's got your back.
Never.
Actually, I like that. I like that answer a lot. Because Snorlax doesn't get so much play. It's always, originals, Pikachu, whatever. But yeah, shout out to Snorlax.
Shout out to Snorlax.
He's just a guy. He doesn't get to evolve. I mean, that's tough.
He doesn't need to evolve. He's already perfect.
he's very evolved. If you've ever talked to him, he's a worldly individual. So Snorlax. So there you go.
Snorlax.
Penguin on one arm and Snorlax on the other. Great answers, and thank you for your question, Llama. All right, we keep going with the questions. The next question comes from Marf. And I'm talking about at Marf Salvador on Twitter. And everyone should be following Marf. And his question for Brandan is, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Well, Marf, love you, big fan. A lot of great tweets. Shout out to Marf Salvador. I'd go follow him. I already do. And actually, Marv, I cannot tell you how to get to Sesame Street. I can't tell you how to get to my street. I have a very bad sense of direction.
Oh, it's all coming out here in the questions. You got a bad sense of direction. Do you often get lost?
Oh, God. I told my girlfriend, who I've been dating for about 2.5 years now, that if I didn't have a GPS, we would have never gone out on our first date, because I would have never found her house.
So that's pretty bad. Well, luckily for us, we do live in the age where everyone has a GPS in their pocket for the most part. And I guess that's a lifesaver for you. Are you're like, you have to walk 3 blocks, you still like pop it on and just make sure?
Oh my God, yeah. I used to do that in my neighborhood. I'm like, well, I can't be too confident.
Yeah, you got to know which way, because it tells you, head east on this street towards whatever street. You got to start right. That's what I always do.
Then you get real cocky at the end of a GPS, like once you get like really close to your house and it's like turn right. It's like, yeah, I knew that.
You're like, sure thing, Siri. Oh wait, where am I?
Yeah, that's essentially how almost everything goes. Every time I'm driving with my girlfriend, I'm like, oh, we're almost there. You can turn off the GPS. She's like, that we can't do that, right? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, we're so lucky that we are in this day and age. You don't have to pull over to ask for directions. Which you wouldn't, right? Because you're a man.
Oh, no, I totally would.
Remember
I have no
joke?
problem saying when I'm lost.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we can admit it. We're a more evolved species nowadays, and we have GPS, so that's great. So, yeah, I don't know. Where is Sesame Street? You know what state it is? It's like in New York. It's Brooklyn. It's got to be, right?
It's got to be Brooklyn.
It's got to be Brooklyn with all those crazy hipsters.
No one sleeps there.
Gordon and Maria. So thank you very much, Marv, for that great question. And the next question comes from Bun at Eminmian. And we get to the question that I said we were going to get to. Why are you called Le Bear Girdle?
That is a wonderful question, and I've got it a lot of times, and I honestly don't know.
Okay, so it was just a random mishmash.
So I took French in college, much to my dismay.
Magnifique.
I don't know anything. I took 4 semesters of it, and I did terrible.
Oh, désolé.
Probably. But I took French. I mean, I took Japanese in high school, and I had to take a language in college. And unfortunately, they did not offer Japanese.
Oh, so
So
like,
I had to go to French with people who had 3 years or 4 years of it already, and I was very, very behind the curve and never caught up.
But you still liked the some of the words, right? Girdle.
I liked like one or two of the words.
I mean, girdle's
I
great.
lay. I like lay as in a substitute for the. It's more fun to say.
Okay, yeah.
Just a general conversation. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. Add some of my French in there. And then I found this picture. My original ABI was a bear holding some weights. And it was fun. I saw the picture. I'm like, I want to use this. I'm like, what can I do with it? I'm like, LeBear's already taken. I'll just think of the weirdest word I can think of. And it was girdle.
Okay, all right, I get it. So there's your process. You had the great picture. You had a inkling of French. Well, throw them all together, throw in a random word, and we got LeBear girdle.
That's essentially the process.
Well, that's great. So that gets to the bottom of that. So thank you very much for that question, Bun. And Bun also asks, would you rather have all your fingernails replaced with teeth or all your teeth replaced with fingernails? This is a completely normal answer, normal question.
See, weirdly enough, I didn't have any trouble at all picking an answer to this question. I knew almost immediately.
Okay, just came to you.
It just came to me. And I would much rather have teeth for fingernails.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. You'd like...
Because, like, you could, if your mouth is tired from eating too much, especially for that hot wing challenge, oh my god, if I had teeth on my fingernails,
that would be a
just chew it up
lifesaver.
and pop it in.
That would have been a lifesaver. Yeah, you're right.
And the other way around, if you had fingernails as teeth, I mean...
Oh.
I know. I couldn't...
They'd all be bendy and cracky when you try to eat something.
I just have to eat applesauce and pudding for the rest of my life.
Well, an obvious answer, but one that needed to be answered. So
an obvious answer.
So thank you very much, Bun. And now we get into the teeth-related questions. We're talking about the teeth tweet. You are the teeth father. I think you mentioned it in your bio that you're the teeth guy. So we knew they were coming. These are the questions about teeth. So the first question comes to us from Dipintu at Dipintu. And his question is, teeth?
Well, he is one of the original teethers, as they are called.
He's a teether. Shout out to the teethers.
Shout out to the teethers. I'm sure that Hops mentioned them. I'm very excited to listen to his episode.
He definitely did.
Which is airing tomorrow, which will be in the past when this airs.
It's very confusing.
Like Inception. But, so he was in the original group that was created as an explanation for the teeth tweet, because there was so many people who didn't understand it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm very tired of all the questions. I'm going to create this group, and I'm going to make up a long story about its origin. And I did, and it was a lot of fun, and the group still exists, and it's great.
That's great. So you have like a FAQ just about this one teeth.
Yeah, essentially. Tweet. There's a bunch of tweets based on it and stuff. I think one was pinned for a while on my profile. But anyways, to answer his question of teeth, I would have to say teeth.
Perfect. The perfect answer. And teeth. So, second question from Dip Into is, which tooth is best?
I don't like to discriminate teeth. I think they're all equal.
Very diplomatic answer. You don't want to pick any favorites, right? Like, they're all your babies.
No, I don't want one to get mad and turn on me.
That's right. The real Sophie's choice of 32 teeth. Right? 32?
Oh,
28 plus 4?
32.
All right. Just checking my math here. Thank you very much for those questions, teethers. Next question comes from Kai D'Antonio, at Kai D'Antonio. And he asks, how do you ultimately feel about the success of teeth? He means the tweet.
I mean, I'm pretty happy about it. I was confused at first at why it became that big. I really didn't know why. But as it grew and as its fans grew, I became pretty happy about it. I always wanted to create a format that was kind of one of my big goals going in, one of the bucket list Twitter goals.
Yeah, we definitely did. This instantly became a format, instantly became popular, created a community of teethers. Since when do you get a community around a tweet? That's great stuff. So yeah, and even people design T-shirts for it. I mean, it's crazy. What? That is amazing. Yeah, so you got to feel pretty good about just that, right? Just bringing so much joy to people with a single chanting of teeth.
Oh, it was great. I'm happy with it.
Very happy, and I'm very happy for you. Very cool to see that kind of blowing up, and even all the people who stole it, even people enjoyed it. We know that it was you who created it, so well done. Plus the format, right? So now people are chanting all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's so funny. I get them all. People send me different formats of it all the time. I just laugh. I think it's hilarious, and
it just keeps. Yeah, people will keep coming. It's an endless well of format jokes. So yeah, keep it. I think it's nice. It's an homage, definitely for Le Bergardelle.
Shout out to all the different versions.
Shout out to the different versions. Yeah, we ain't mad at you.
We ain't mad.
We ain't mad at you. All right, so we're winding her down. The last question comes to us from Alligator at Not a Croc, and Jersh asks, "How many teeth are enough teeth?"
Well, Josh, there's no limit, I don't think. There's no limit. There's no minimum either. There's no maximum or minimum. Whatever you think is the amount that you need is the amount that you have. Wow. And the amount that's good.
Again, with the very diplomatic answer. Obviously, he's a crocodile. He's going to be into teeth and have a lot of them, right? Don't they have, rows? You got to get those.
I think they have an unlimited amount. If they lose one, another just grows back in. I might be very wrong. I'm not as up to date on my croc facts as I am, or alligator facts, my mistake, as I am with penguins.
Well, if that's true, get at us, Josh, and let us know. So thank you to everyone who has submitted a question. Those are some great questions. We really got to the bottom of this whole teeth thing. And if you want to send a question for future guests, be sure to follow at FOTS Pod on Twitter and just send the questions. It's great. So thank you again. Now, we got a bonus question from last week's friend of the show at Steve versus Ninjas. And he asks, if you could go any place and live there for 1 year, where would that be and why?
Well, as I alluded to earlier, I think it would be Japan.
Oh, very good. Yes.
I just always thought it was a really cool place. Very, very modern, very ahead of the curve of the rest of the world, I think. It's just a different society. I mean, I've never really been too far out of the country. And I think that if there's anywhere I really would like to see, and I know that would be different from where I'm at right now, it's definitely Japan.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a great mix of classic history and modern tech. They got great vending machines. Anything you want.
Literally anything you want.
Anything you want. Vending machine. Just go to the corner, put in use your retinal scan or whatever, however they are paying over there now.
Throw in your yen and get on going.
And there you go. So, a very good answer. So, I guess that just about wraps her up for the show. Thank you, Brandan, for joining me this week on the show. And now we will end the podcast by playing the theme and saying our goodbyes. So thank you again.
Thanks for having me, Steven. I had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot about penguins. Learned a lot about teeth. And really, that's what it's all about.
I'd like to do a quick shout out to Kellen for just being around and being the subject of so many great questions.
Shout out to Kellen. Oh, well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Brandan. I would tell you to follow him, but you probably already did that while you were listening. Shout out to Kellen at Captain Calvis and check out his new viral tweet about milk. Be sure to follow at FOTS Pod and send a question for future guests. I have been at Skinner Steven. Visit StephenWSkinner.com for all the episodes. And I hearken you, subscribe, and get a new episode automatically every week. Cheers to Kyle I. Davidson for the theme. And thank you to Ruby Coast for the music. And thank you very much for listening. And have a great one.